Welcome to Ren Behind the Practice. I'm Sophie Campisi. I'm a holistic business strategist, and I spend a lot of my time in conversations with practitioners, coaches, and healers about the behind the scenes of their businesses. What I started noticing is that some of the most honest, important conversations about building a practice were happening quietly, one-on-one, behind the scenes, in isolation. And there's still so much internalized guilt and shame when the business side of things isn't working the way that we hoped, even when the work itself is amazing and super powerful. This podcast series exists to bring those conversations forward. The dreams, the uncertainty, the highs and the lows, the recalibration, the messy middle. My hope is that by normalizing these conversations, we can soften the stigma, feel less alone, and start closing the gaps together. Today, my guest is Megan Crouch. Megan is a massage therapist, quantum healer, and authentic branding guide. Megan, it is so great to have you here today. Thank you for showing up to have this conversation with me.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to sharing my experience with everyone.
Yay, thank you so much. So the goal of these conversations are to capture real-time reflections, authentic, honest, behind the scenes, and be present with the what's so of where we are in building our practices. Before we look ahead today, can you share a little bit about the work that you do?
So I've been a massage therapist for 16 years now. And that was always kind of like a part-time side thing while I was I was tech writer, team lead, manager, corporate life. And it was just something I was passionate about. And then, 2020 hit and, it was like, okay, I can't do this. So, what else is available? And I got into quantum healing, Akashic Records. I'd been doing Akashic Records for a while, but like really finding what worked for me. And then, all these modalities that really help people like clear timelines and clear patterns that are showing up and blocking them. And so I've really been focusing on that the past 5 years, but struggling to like, how do I get clients and be really authentic to me? I got into human design and Gene Keys and really love that. And I love business. So like, it's been a lot of rebranding myself and figuring out what really works for me.
What's the main way now that you tend to work with your clients? Is it still with massage or virtual stuff?
Right now, it's a lot of massage. So I've been dealing with like family stuff the past year, and I got laid off from my corporate job a year ago. And so like started rebuilding my massage business and trying to figure out, because to me, one of the things that I've learned for myself is when you go to be an entrepreneur, there's a huge healing component to the journey. And so like, how do I bring like authentic business to people and healing so that they can move forward?
Absolutely. I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but in the last episode with Angela, this came up, the same thing about how transformational, not just like in the surface level way, but how deeply transformational and entrepreneurship is, and how much of a catalyst to evolution, like rapid evolution, entrepreneurship and business is. And so, especially for those of us who are healers, who have already answered the call to healing and self-development, and then you add on entrepreneurship, it's like this double whammy, right? It's like we're already on this trajectory, this fast-paced trajectory to evolution and transformation, because we answered the call to be of service, to heal, and then to be of service. And then now to layer on entrepreneurship and business to that is this whole other thing. So it's like we're all getting slammed with the good stuff, right?
Yeah. And if you're only focusing on business but not healing, it's like you're going to struggle more, or you're going to create a business that it could be successful, but like it kills you inside.
Yeah. 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 And that's part of what one of my goals is with the work that I do, is deep diving into all of the business stuff and then translating it for us, for our people. And I always joke with people that I work with a whole bunch of Merlins, like people who do things backwards, right? And it's just our way of doing things. But most of the business stuff out there isn't really, the principles are relevant, right? Like we need the business stuff. We can't spiritually bypass beyond the stuff that is vital to actually running a solid, steady, sustainable business and practice. But the way it's talked about, the way it's taught usually doesn't resonate with us. And so part of the fun for me has been deep diving into what's out there, taking out from that those fundamental vital principles, the things that we cannot skip, but then translating, right? Like there's a huge synthesis and translation process for me to make it make sense. I had to make it make sense for me in my body. I had to make it resonate with me. I had to make sure it felt aligned with my nervous system. I wasn't just going to do something because someone said to
Yeah.
do it, right? And that's how we all are. And yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And I don't know if you've experienced this with the people that you work with, but like a lot of the people that I've trained with and have worked with, like, it's mainly women doing the spiritual healing work, but they want to be feminine. They want like how to do business feminine. And that's great and it's wonderful. But if you look at like the universal law, it's masculine and feminine, it's gender, it's polarity, it's all these things. So if you only focus on like, I want to be in my receiving feminine flow, if you don't have the business structure, you're not going to actually go anywhere because you don't have both components. And so, you're so spot on of like, you have to translate the more patriarchal business approach and make it make sense for your feminine business without compromising either parts of you. Like you need to have them both to truly be in your feminine.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, so well said. That was really like so spot on, really beautiful. And as you were saying that, I'm even getting this image of even a woman fully in her feminine without a masculine balance, whether it's just a counterpart, is going to be imbalanced. The same goes within the business. So if we are going to be a solopreneur, which we can do things, we have to be able to work with both energies or find a way to incorporate the other ones in to find that flow, to really be in harmony with the what's so, which is a completely one way, isn't working and isn't going to work. We see that, like we've seen that not work, but completely the other way also, as you said, doesn't work. It's a combination of masculine and feminine. It's a combination of being in receptivity and being in action.
Yep.
How can we put the structures in place and then allow flow within those? But we need both.
Yes.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. When you look ahead to the next 6 to 12 months for you and your work and your practice, what does success actually look like for you? What would you want in place? What do you want in place?
I mean, I think the biggest piece of success for me is really about helping people and helping as many people. Like, that's success. And then, on the result of that is having the financial, all of my bills are paid. I've got money and going into savings and all of that. Like everything is taken care of. And I'm doing that by helping others. So whether that's having a certain number of massage clients every week, I really love this using human design and gene keys to help people like really understand their authentic self and what their own personal branding is. Just here's how you can really be successful. And then, taking that and like the next phase is either building your personal brand or your business brand. They can be separate things. They can be the same thing. So like, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, but I don't focus just on that. It's more, successful women who are ready for change, ready to let go of like old patterns that aren't helping them. And then like the third phase of, because I'm also a writer by trade, of like helping people, how do you create the content for your website? How do you create your signature offer, and helping them build those things out? It's like doing all that. And then some, group stuff. Cause it's like, especially being an entrepreneur, it's like you only have so many hours, so many days. And how do you maximize your time and reach the most people?
So you want to, generally speaking, for sure get a more steady client flow and then also potentially build your business out a little bit more sustainably.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
doing things that like I'm a generator, so I have like the things that light me up. I love business. I love leadership. I love healing. Like those are my big pillars. However, that works, like, because I believe in meeting people where they are and who they are, not trying to make them mini versions of me of like, oh, this worked for me, so it's going to work for you. It's like, no, like, okay, you're this kind of person. So this strategy is not going to actually be effective for you, but this would. And helping them make those little minute changes that shifts everything for them.
When you think about that, when you think of getting to that place that we just talked about, that kind of like 6 to 12 month version of having more client flow and maybe adjusting your offers a bit so that your business is a little more financially and energetically sustainable. What do you feel like you need to do to get there? Are there any things, if you had to name one, two, or three, like specific things that you think you need to get to that place?
I think the three things. So one is really making sure like my messaging on my website and any social media stuff is truly in alignment and clear and not like because I think I know for myself and many other people it's like we talk about what we do, not the transformation that people are going to have. It's like talking about, oh, I'm a human design reader, like that doesn't mean anything to somebody. But like the transformation, getting all of that out. And so like I've been using the tools and the things that I'm offering to people on myself and just making those micro changes like every week to get to that clear messaging. Then the other thing is I default to writing because I have done that for 30 years. But from a human design perspective, even though I have an open throat, I have the most gates active in that. So I am meant to speak. And so getting myself to record little things talking about what I do. And that's where like I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling it, or like I need to shower. So like I'll record tomorrow, and then tomorrow it's something else. And so it's like that's the one change. Like I have to sit myself down and actually do that. And then I had a third one, but I think those are the two big things of like that clarity of message and just starting to speak and get myself out there more.
What feels hard about those things? Are those places that you've been stuck in the past? Have there been hurdles in the past that are related to those? Have there been other hurdles?
Yeah. I mean, definitely with getting my messaging clear. When I started doing the quantum healing, my teacher at the time, I have two quantum healing teachers, both of them, like they had these programs and they were like really divine feminine kind of things. And the one teacher was also like doing business stuff. And she was like, kind of like the fake it till you make it stuff. And like, just mimic, my stuff or mimic somebody's stuff until it feels natural. And so I kept trying to do that. And I kept trying to build offers with what I had learned from her. And like, I'd get to the point where like I was almost done and then I would collapse because it wasn't the right messaging for me. It wasn't, I'm like, the work that I do is phenomenal, but I wasn't supposed to do it like they were. It's like, how do I bring this stuff into business, into leadership, which are things that like they light me up. I can talk about those things for hours, but it wasn't like like bringing those things together. I have no problems, obviously, talking, but it's like that as the generator to like not have somebody to react off of or respond to. It's like, oh, like, yeah, I can go and I can talk, but is it right? And so I have to figure out how do I get that like something I'm responding to in my messaging, in my speaking.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure fake it till you make it came up in the last episode as well. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough, not only business advice, but it's not a good enough business principle to build a solid, sustainable business long term.
Yeah.
You know this, right? Like, you know it, like, I know it, we all know it. And yeah, and we talked about this before we started the recording today, which is everyone's well-intentioned, people giving this advice because they want what we all want, which is to see everyone be successful, to see everyone thriving, to see everyone connecting with their clients and being deeply in their mission and being deeply in their integrity with the work that they're here to do. We all want that. And we need to up the ante on the business coaching, the business advice, all of that we're giving to people to actually get there, because the market's too saturated, and running online businesses, as you know, it kind of sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, your massage has a physical component to it. So it's probably easier to get those massage clients.
Yeah.
Already looking for it, you can find it. But when it comes to the online and the virtual,
Yeah. And
yeah, yeah,
it's not a clear, like, you're going to have X result when you're done. Cause like, I did a session on a friend of mine who, she's a salesperson. Now I'm like, I'm going to give this to you. And in exchange, help me figure out how to talk about it. And when it was done, she was like, I don't know what you did. All I know is I feel different. I'm like, that doesn't help me.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's not like there are some tangible things, but it's not a cut and dry thing. Like
right.
going to, for massage, like, I'm going to feel relaxed. I might feel, it might be a little bit painful in areas where I'm holding stress, like whatever, like, but I know I'm going to feel relaxed and I'm going to feel better when it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yeah, it's something that we're all collectively struggling with. And if the advice that we're given, if the business tactics strategy, if you will, isn't radically different, we're not going to see the change that we need to see for us to actually be living solid, thriving, successful lives and sustainable practices through time. And I think that's part of what I'm starting to be more outspoken about, is we need to raise the bar. It's not enough to, not singling out that person, like the fake it till you make it approach. It's not enough to just try this different tactic. Oh, just try this. Have you tried LinkedIn? Like, just adding on different tactics, just trying different things actually isn't enough. Because if it was, we would all be seeing the needle moving more.
Yeah.
And we're not.
Yeah. And it is, I think that kind of on the back end of things are changing. And so like some of the stuff just isn't going to work because, whether it's saturated or LinkedIn, Facebook, all these things, they're businesses. So like what they maybe gave willingly at first to build their stuff, it's that now, oh, we're going to hide you if you're trying to do it for free. But, if you pay us, but then it's like, well, there's still not the return on investment because it's like if you spend $200 a month and you're getting 2,000 and then dollars worth of customers, that's great. It's worth the investment. But when you're not, that $200 is like, that's food for my family.
Yeah, that brings us straight into where I like to wrap up the conversation. What's the cost if things stay the way that they are now or don't progress to where it's possible for your work and your practice to progress to?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest cost is being stuck in corporate doing, work that doesn't really light me up. And I think, the bigger cost is that the world doesn't heal. Especially even from a human design, and I'm not an expert on this, but like next year we shift into the year of the sleeping phoenix. There's going to be a huge change that happens with that. We're in the year of the fire horse. There's going to be a lot of transformation that's happening. And, if myself and others aren't there to help people through that process, even like my boyfriend is ex-military and, he's been, sometimes he's a little closed off, but then he has these experiences and he's like, my rational brain is struggling to wrap myself around it, but my experience is telling me like this is real. And so to help people who are in that, like, who haven't been fully open to some of this stuff, but are going to need it and need to shift and need to heal and need to like work on that multidimensional level. If we're not there to help them, like, what is the future state of the world going to be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. When we look at especially from my view, where I sit as a business strategist. My people are the practitioners. In the holistic world, it is one of the fastest growing industries for a reason, because we look at the collective and we're going through a collective global dark night of the soul. There is no shortage of people who need more tools than we have available. Why do we know that's necessary? Because if what we had available was working,
Things would
right?
be very
Things
different.
would be different. We wouldn't see the suicide rates. We wouldn't see all
Yeah.
the mass shootings. We wouldn't see all of the things that we have going
All the
on,
hatred and
all the
the
hatred. So we know, okay, what we have going on isn't working. That's not a knock. It's just like we've evolved. It's like the state of the collective place of humanity has evolved beyond just the tools that we have had access to. So we know that we need the other tools. Those of us who answered the call 5 years ago or a decade ago or multiple decades ago, we're here and we're ready. And like I was saying, from my where I sit, it's like I see both. Like they are both there. The time is there. Now we need to bridge the gaps, right? Close the gaps, find a way to let there be more harmony and flow between both sides. Because, like you said, the cost of it not working, it's twofold. It's on both sides. Both sides lose. Anything else you want to say about that before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think it's important for people to start like finding the healers, figuring out like what are the patterns, what are because even in human design, there's the shadow, the gift, and the siddhi of everything. So like the shadow is our wounds. They're the things that as children we learned this meant safety. But as an adult, those shadows don't work anymore. So how do you move into the gift? And how do you have find the right people to help you shift into the higher frequency of yourself. You're talked about loving like linguistics. Like I love the etymology of words. Like what is the original meaning of this word and are you using it correctly? All those things, like start diving deeper into things. Like chat gpt is wonderful for opening up what did this thing in the bible actually mean? What were the original Hebrew or Aramaic? What are the Akkadian, the Mesopotamian? Like what is the history of this and what does it really mean? Because you'll find truths that have actually been hidden from us. So like all those different layers of healing that need to happen, start doing it now.
And I'll add to that and say for us on this side, for the practitioners, coaches, healers, we also need to be doing a better job at letting people know what we can help them with, right? You already talked about messaging. You're aware of that. Not everyone, I mean, we're aware, usually that something's not working, but we haven't still learned the skills of how to nail our messaging, not just for a business reason, but for this reason, because we need to also get better at being super clear to our target market, to our people. This is exactly what I help you with. Yep. And I can take you from here to here. Come work with me. I think we need to raise the bar for that for many reasons. So yes, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And even like collaborating.
Yeah.
Of like, I have, these skills and I can get you to this point.
Yeah.
And then like, work with this person for a little bit or like, bring this person in, because like you said at the start of like, there's messages that are conversations that are happening, but they're happening behind the scenes. And so we need to start bringing the people that we know are good, but have a different audience or a different skill set, bringing them into the light and say like, now you're ready for this. Now you're ready for some breath work. Now you're ready for this healing. Now you're ready to actually start to dive into your business. Here's some, your web developer, your graphic designers, or, here's the person like they really can help you nail your messaging. Like for me, I help people like, here's the kit. Now bring it to your web designer and they'll tweak it and make it even better, but you have the ideas.
I'm a projector, so I know firsthand that I'm meant to stay in my lane. I'm a blueprinter, but I'm not meant to carry out all the things. And teamwork and collaboration is a projector's dream come true. Dream come true. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, what you're saying, everything that you're saying, it's so spot on. Thank you so much, Megan, for having this conversation with me.
It was great.
Yeah, thank you. If you're listening and any part of this felt familiar or it resonated with you or you had an aha moment, you are not alone. Please reach out. I want to hear from you. I want to connect. We all need to continue to come together. And if you want to reach Megan, the link to her website is in the show notes. Thank you again, Megan. And to everyone else, thanks for listening. We'll see all of you in the next episode of Ren Behind the Practice.